Welcome to my studio. My name is Philip Vaughan. When I was a young kid, we lived in France and my father was a seaman. We lived in a house overlooking the ocean. So my first artwork was on these big pieces of paper that we could get to wrap your school books in. I would unfold them and I would draw pictures of these ships sailing by like this. I had really no idea that this was art. I was just interested in the ships and how they looked and how they sailed. Eventually, my parents sent me to boarding school in England, and there I had the great good fortune to run into Gordon Taylor, who was a fabulous art teacher. He taught us the history of architecture, the history of painting and drawing, and he also was a very good practical art teacher. He really taught us perspective and all of the basic tools to learn how to draw. At the time, I thought I was going to become a naval architect and design ships for a living. Still interested in that, actually. He persuaded me that there was really more of a job to be done in architecture, regular land architecture. I went off to architecture school, studied there, loved it actually, but decided that really what I needed to do was to be in art school. So I went off to Hornsey Art School and then graduated from Chelsea Art School and learned a lot there about color, about light, and had some great teachers there. So when I graduated from there, I started teaching art. And while I was teaching art, I started building a boat. And eventually I got in the boat and with my very young, very brave wife, we sailed out across the Atlantic and landed in Florida. When we arrived there, we had $10 in our pockets between us. So we got jobs right away. And while I was working in this exhibit fabrication company, making the crates, actually, that was my introduction to the business, somebody said, well, you should go and look at these people at Walt Disney World. They're doing some really fascinating stuff. So I went over there, got a job as a plastics specialist, met Ralph Nielsen, another fabulous guy. We started working on both Epcot and Tokyo Disneyland, fabricating, not designing, fabricating really. It was an incredible experience and an incredible education for me. I really loved the whole process of it. Eventually, Disney sent me to Japan, so I got to learn a little bit about Asia and what a wonderful place that is. When I came home, they laid me off and I started my own company. And I've been in this business ever since until I retired a few years back. Now I've gone back to my original love, which is just making sculpture and painting. So it's a beautiful circle that I've been on. So what did I learn from my business, from my time in the theme park industry? Well, first of all, I should say that for me, the theme park industry includes the museum industry. That to me, those two industries are welded together. When I started my own company, I had the great good fortune of being able to work in the museum industry as well, and to bring the skills that we had learned in the theme park industry, the ways that we tell the stories with all the magic and the special effects and the lighting and all those things, we brought those to the museum industry, and it made a great way you could tell stories. And the stories you tell in the museum industry are about serious subjects: climate change, science, mathematics, and taking the challenge of trying to explain that to a 10-year-old is something that I really enjoyed and really embraced personally. And I learned from the theme park industry that really this is a collaborative art. You have writers, you have designers, certainly, but you also have lighting people, you have engineers, you have show programmers, you have architects. There's a whole panoply of people involved here, including special effects people and all of those mechanical engineers, that whole group of people. So the story is told by the cumulative effort of all those people. And that's a really wonderful thing. That's something which I don't think there are hardly any other industries in the world that use such a wide range of people to work together to come up with one beautiful product. Thank you very much for your time.